Okay, here we are, part 4 of World Subregions Battle Royale. Left we have North America, Western Europe, which is now mainly just Russia and South, Muslim, I don't really know, the pink team. East Asia, which controls most of East Asia, as well as South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. North Africa, West Africa, and Southern Africa. And as I said in the last video, we have a major war breaking out. So we have North America. We have a week in Western Europe, so we have, what was it? I believe it was East Asia plus North America plus North Africa. So all of Western Europe's neighbors, so East Asia, North America, and North Africa versus Western Europe. West Africa hates North Africa, so they join in on Western Europe's side, and South Africa, having done basically nothing this video, decides they could gain a bunch if they join the side of if they join North Africa's side. So it's Western Europe and Western Africa versus everyone. Yeah, it's not looking so great. To start, we have a push into the So Western Europe, obviously being the aggressor, they're able to attack first. They quickly push in from both sides and quickly take Afghanistan and Central Asia from East Asia. And from there, they, due to the fact that a bunch of forces have just left, they take over much of Eastern, the former Soviet states. As well as Syria, Israel, and Lebanon and Jordan. Cool. North African forces, who are along the border with, South African forces actually managed to, South African forces take out, or start a push into the Congo, which goes successfully, as many South African forces are, or many West African forces are in the north, hoping to fend off against North Africa. So they take advantage of this with a push into Ethiopia and Somalia. And now with a connection set up between the two states, West Africa starts to crumble. We have North Africa managing to push into former North African states, which are all these places, and Cameroon is invaded, which causes this area to be split off. South Africa takes out the CAR and South Sudan, leaving West Africa to eventually just surrender. There's not really much they could do. They're kind of screwed, and now it's Western Europe versus the entire world, basically. Yeah, good Western Europe kind of got themselves into a pretty horrible situation here. So to start off, we have North American forces no, they don't do anything, actually. False alarm. We have North African forces. Nope. Actually, no, we don't. We have East Asian forces, sorry. East Asian forces pushing in from, what color is East Asia? Is it this? Which one's East Asia? I keep forgetting. Is this it? Nope. Why do I keep forgetting what color I made East Asia? It's not that complicated. Screw this. East Asia is now red. Yeah, that's what I thought. East Asia's red. I'm tired of mixing up colors. I have now made East Asia just red. Perfect. That's better. So now East Asia looks to push into, East Asia wants to get India and Pakistan. So they quickly push into Pakistan. They take the country, cutting off India, which eventually, after pushing down south, they surround Bengal cities in the south, and finally they take it. So now, basically, East Asia controls half the world population. Yeah. Western Europe, then North Africa, now having mobilized, pushes into Iran, and, East Asia doesn't like this, as they were planning on pushing into Iran. So, remember, these two countries don't like each other. However, they do agree to partition Central Asia pretty evenly, basically, just like Basically, they agree to partition it like this. Yeah, I know, it's really, really great. Central Asia now being partitioned, we now have North Africa and Western Europe, which are North America, which are actual allies. They agree to quickly, they don't really trust East Asia, so they look to, cut it off. So quickly, forces from the two nations invade from the south, invade Europe. North African forces take Turkey and the Caucasus regions, or the Caucasus countries, whatever it's called, and quickly spearhead into Russia to cut it off, which they do. This makes East Asia very mad, as they were kind of hoping to, East Asia was kind of hoping to grab part of, like, the Russian heartland, which they don't get. So they're mad at now Western Europe and North Africa. However, they use this advantage to take, they use their advantage here now to take out, all of Russian Siberia. And basically the blue team, Western Europe fights hard. However, they're no match for the two giants. Moscow falls. Central Asia forces push up. And there we have it. Western Europe, which at the time looked like it could possibly win, has now fallen. And now we only have 4 nations left. And we have an alliance system. We have South Africa, which is neutral, and East Asia, which now hates North Africa and North America. So, is this realistic? East Asia and North America would probably be the most realistic. South Africa and North Africa would probably not last as long, though. Maybe South Africa would, though, because it's isolated. I don't know. We'll see. And another major war basically breaks out. No one likes each other, except North America and Western Europe. They like each other. North America and North Africa, they like each other. So, we have those two countries versus East Asia. So, and South Africa basically decides to once again sit this one out. They decide maybe they could join at the end to gain some land. And now we have the 3 most powerful countries in the world going to fight against each other. Yeah, it's not pretty. Basically, to start off, East Asia only borders North Africa, so Western Europe quickly sends a ton of troops to the front line. And immediately they look to take out Central Asia, which they do. And East Asia gathers a ton of forces from China, Japan, India, Pakistan, the Koreas, Southeast Asia, Indonesia. They control much of the world population, a majority of it, actually. And they manage to forcibly, not really forcibly, as a lot of it is truly East Asian, they manage to take out a ton of people and get to fight. However, before they could do that, North American forces make a landing in Russian Siberia and are able to capture Kamchatka. So now we have two fronts. A ton of area captured by North Africa eventually will be turned over to North America, however. But in the meantime, forces from Pakistan push back into Central Asia as well as Iran, and East Asia is now on the offensive. They have cut off North Africa, which then flees, and much of Russia, which was part of North Africa. And North Africa's weakness is starting to show. They're unorganized, and now a ton of their forces, having been cut off, are now severely weakened. South Africa takes this opportunity. They join the war on North Africa's side, on the side of, on the side of East Asia, and they start their own push up into the African continent, with many troops not in West Africa. They take it over. They also start their push into the north. However, they're able to push into the north, now controlling the Mediterranean, or the southern Mediterranean. And finally, the Middle East does fall. Western Europe North America, is able to take Turkish lands as well, but that's about it. The rest of it is taken over by either East Asia, which gets Iraq, Saudi Arabia, this area, while South Africa, I have to get used to that, is able to take Syria, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, Lebanon. Cool. Now we only have 3 more countries. And with much of East Asia focused on taking over, North Africa, forces up here in Russian Siberia are free to take, Russian Siberia. And they actually reach Vladivostok and manage to take the city, which opens the corridor into Manchuria, which is bad as they're threatening the heartland of East Asia. They take the Kuril Islands and actually land on this Japanese island. I forgot what it's called. The northern one with Sapporo, whatever. Yeah, great. Then an invasion into Manchuria begins, which goes successfully, and Beijing is getting close. They're getting very close to Beijing. Right there. It's not where Beijing is, it's a bit further north. I don't really care. With Korea and Japan now cut off, now naval, I'm going to start showing naval stuff. The blue team's navy is very powerful, and they are able to take this entire sea. I think that's the Sea of Japan. I don't really know or care. But they take over the whole sea, as well as the waters surrounding Japan, leaving Japan and Korea both cut off. And eventually both the 2 states fall to North America. It's big as that's 2 of the biggest areas. By the way, South Africa has decided to come out of this war now, to see, as they once again don't want to be on the losing side. And finally, East Asia, however, now has gotten their forces from North Africa to East Asia in hopes of defending China. And we have a huge Battle of Beijing, which we will go into this map to show. So here we are. Let's just bring that back. Cool. Now we have the Battle of Beijing. So here's the city of Beijing. East Asian forces have East Asian forces control much of the city and its surrounding area. However, forces from North America have started to push into the city. This is about half of each of the armies, by the way, are now in China, hoping if they manage to take Beijing, northern China, or the rest of China will be exposed. If they don't, then they will be sent back, kicked out of the Asian continent, and basically screwed. With forces, not really in Europe, by the way. There's not that many, for either side. Whatever. This is the only real thing that's happening. Everywhere else is defensive. So, North American forces, start their push toward Beijing. From the side, they decide not to make a spearhead and instead just send their whole army this way, or most of the army. So it's not really a spearhead, it's just like a major campaign. And they've managed to reach the areas surrounding Beijing, or not really, but the city of Tianjin, or whatever it's called, they managed, or isn't there, the city's like right there, so they hope that they could capture that city, and then from there, so the western side of Beijing is mountainous, however the eastern side's flat, so they're going around the flat eastern side, Tianjin now, and in order to do that, they have to capture Tianjin, so this proves to be pivotal. East Asia many forces quickly rush into Tianjin to defend the city. And how does this battle play out? Oh yeah, North American forces this time do create a spearhead and cut off Tianjin. And this time, instead of waiting, they quickly instead of waiting to like cut off this, like to starve them, they quickly march into the city and they quickly capture the mega city of Tianjin. This is a huge city, just so everyone knows. You might not have heard of it, but it's huge. And with that, the path to take out Beijing is now established. Forces go around and the city is surrounded, leaving forces from North America to be able to take out the city. And with it, we have the surrender of Beijing. Yeah, not China yet. And just like that, northern China has now fallen, and the path into the rest of China is now open. Inner Mongolia and Mongolia both fall. From there, an invasion into Russia begins, from both sides actually, as much of the Chinese army, which was in Beijing or Tianjin, has now surrendered. Forces are able to push into Russia and the spearhead, and Russia does just surrender the whole country, and now North America controls it. So East Asia here has one major advantage, and that is population. So despite the fact that they just lost half the army, they can easily gain that back, which they do. And before long, the army is back in China, defending Shanghai. Yeah. It's not pretty. Once they look to, North American forces look to take Shanghai, which I believe is like there. And we have another battle, this one for Shanghai. North American forces are once again near the city. Wow, what's it called? North American forces are looking to capture the city. Yeah, great. So this battle is a bit more interesting, as Shanghai, the ocean is right here, so nothing will cross this right here. Meaning if they want to surround it, they have to go around and near. In order to surround Shanghai, they'd have to cross in order to surround Shanghai, they have to go into the major city of Nanjing, which is very well defended in this place, and in probably the most important battle of this series yet, we have the pivotal Battle of Nanjing. So, quickly, East Asia manages to take control of the city, and across the river, North American forces look to capture the city. If they are able to capture the city, they can then cross the river, and once they've crossed the river, they can easily capture Shanghai, which would not be good. So, East Asian forces quickly defend the city. North American forces bomb the city in hopes of getting the city to surrender, I guess. This does not work, and crossing the river is hard. However, there are a few bridges in town, which many forces, millions, charge the bridge in hopes of crossing it. And eventually it does end up being successful, and the bridges are crossed, they don't cross the bridge in Nanjing or Nanking. They cross in the outskirts. They cross in the outskirts of Nanjing. And with the outskirts now, with the city now, with the river now crossed, North American forces quickly look to surround the city, which they do, leaving a ton of East Asian forces, millions, tens of millions, one of the largest battles ever, surrounded until eventually tens of millions of troops are forced to either surrender or they just die in the city of Nanjing, which has just seen the most crucial battle ever. Because now with Nanjing surrounded, forces from North America were able to push down in hopes of capturing Shanghai. They push south and then eventually push back north at the city of Jaixing. I don't know. It's a city, I'm just looking at a map. They quickly take it, leaving Shanghai truly surrounded. This whole area also falls. And eventually, the city of Shanghai is put under a true siege, which is not good. And the city is forced to surrender as they basically have nothing. Yeah, there goes Shanghai. And with it, with it, China basically surrenders. Yeah, it's bad, but with Shanghai fallen, most of East Asia's army is now destroyed. Shanghai fell, leaving the only part of China which is a bit hard is the Pearl River Delta, near Guangdong. Ton of people, but it is hard. So, East Asia faces a second major blow, which is Southern Africa joining the war on North America's side. So they start the push into the Arabian Peninsula and Iran. So Western Europe doesn't really like Southern Africa, as they kind of just join to gain land, and they just cut them off from Central Asia, right here. Western Europe hope to push that way, but whatever. They'll take the help. A spearhead, both sides look to invade Pakistan, which they do. The Indus River Valley is given to North America, however, everything else is given, Pakistan is given to North Africa. With it, Kazakhstan then and Central Asia all falls to North America. And now Southern Africa is cut off. And basically from there, that's not true. Southern Africa, a landing is made in Australia by Southern Africa as it's undefended. And they managed to land in Australia as well as much of Oceania, which all falls. with much of the East Asian Army having surrendered in Shanghai and Nanjing, in the Battle of Shanghai and Nanjing, they're pretty screwed. There's not really that many more people they could recruit. There were hundreds of millions of people. They've all surrendered defending China. In Southeast Asia, North American forces push, while South African forces are able to push into Indonesia, and finally India. After a long and hard campaign, Bangladesh is taken. Instead of crossing the Himalayas, they obviously go from Pakistan. They push down south. They take Mumbai, which is big. They then take Sri Lanka. Push back up, meet up with forces in Bengal. They reach the Ganges River. They capture Delhi. From there, the rest of northern India is taken. And with it, East Asia, which was probably the favorite to win, has surrendered due to bad management and me possibly favoring North America. But we'll just ignore that. But I don't think it's favoring. I think North America had a very good chance at winning with the U.S. And now we have two countries left, which are the U.S., North America, and Southern Africa. And they declare war. To start North America, quickly, a ton of forces are trapped in Oceania. North America, with their far superior navy, captures it and surrounds the forces. They starve everything, and basically the city falls, leaving only the continent of Africa left. Forces from Spain managed to make a naval invasion in Morocco, and Algeria also falls. From there, forces managed to push into Iran. They crossed the mountains into Iraq and the Mesopotamia area, the Levant, Holy Land, whatever it's called. Forces then push into Saudi Arabia, and with that, all of North Africa rebels, as North Africa and as North Africa and North America used to be an alliance. They were probably one of the strongest alliances, and eventually, the entirety of North Africa falls to the to North America. And with that, the Saharan Desert has been crossed. From there, they are able to push into West Africa. They take Cameroon, cutting it off. And from there, a campaign is started. They take Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia. Finally, in Nigeria, they take the north, and finally Lagos is put under siege and eventually falls. And with the final push, they really just have much of Africa really just giving in. East Africa is kind of done fighting. They surrender. In the Congo, forces cross the Congo River from both sides. They take Brazzaville, Kinshasa, and finally, now threatening the South African heartland, North American forces push into Angola. They take Luanda. Namibia is captured with the fall of Windhoek. In Botswana, forces push. Zambian forces fall. Mozambique, most of it falls. Zimbabwe doesn't stand a chance. A naval invasion of Madagascar. Eswatini falls. And finally, push into South Africa begins. Cape Town is sounded, falls. And now, with much of the population, South African leaders in Johannesburg, the city eventually falls. And there we have it, a North American controlled world. Is this realistic? Maybe, probably not though. there it goes. That is a big series. So here we have it. North America wins using strategic military strategies, surroundings, and winning crucial battles, as well as creating strategic alliances and sitting out an entire episode and using their isolation to their advantage in true American style. There we go. The end. Goodbye.